the ADHD boredom cycle. I learned how to take control and harness that cycle to work for me rather than against me. That's what this video is about today. Hi guys, my name is Shelby. If you're new here, welcome. This channel is about how to regulate your nervous system, how to learn ADHD strategies to help yourself manage your ADHD symptoms, how to be more productive and enjoy your life and be a happier person while on the go, working full-time outside of the home and also living frugally and saving money. If you can relate to any of that, or if any of that is on your goals list, hit subscribe and like this video. It really helps my channel and it helps these videos be seen by more people. What makes the difference between the day when you can just pop out of bed and be ready to go and the day when you can hardly open your eyes and your alarm is your worst enemy? I lived years of my life bouncing back and forth and having no idea what would cause me to be able to get up in the morning and why sometimes I couldn't get up in the morning and I couldn't get myself to be able to sustain getting up in the morning and being able to start my day productively until I started to learn the cycle. I started to learn what I call for myself the ADHD boredom cycle. And I learned how to take control and harness that cycle to work for me rather than against me. So this is the cycle as I experience it. And you can see if you can relate to this. Something is new, shiny, and exciting. Maybe you bought a new journal to use in the mornings, or maybe you decided to try a new routine that you are sure is just going to fix your entire life. Or maybe you invested in a new morning health drink that's going to revitalize you and give you all the vitamins and energy that you need. Maybe you have a new space in your home that is newly organized or renovated and you're excited to spend time in it. Or maybe you've decided that you're finally going to start that workout regimen and start going to the gym regularly. Whatever it might be, that new, shiny, exciting thing that is now in your life makes you bounce out of bed and be ready for the day, and your alarm goes off and you're excited to get started because today is the day you start that new health drink that you bought. So then the next phase of the cycle is that you kind of hyper focus on that thing and sort of obsess over it. So you're like obsessed with your morning journal that you bought and you're like spending so long and filling so many pages and you just want to write in it all day long. Or you're loving your new morning routine and you feel like your dream life has been unlocked and this new morning routine is just going to solve all your problems and it's going to be wonderful. Or maybe because you have a new health drink, now you want to cut sugar completely and do this like 3-week detox and start working out and exercising because you have this new health drink. That's phase 2, is hyper focus. Phase 3 of the cycle is that the novelty wears off, right? Like the journal that you bought isn't quite as exciting anymore. And you're like, I don't really feel like journaling today. Your new workout routine has become quite cumbersome and you decide that you don't really have time to be doing that every day. So the novelty wears off and you start to kind of wane on these new things that you thought were going to be life-changing start to become really hard to sustain. Here's the next phase of the cycle is that you again feel bored, you feel unmotivated, and your alarm goes off and you think, I'm just gonna go back to sleep because I can. So I'm just gonna go back to sleep, right? Because there's not really anything motivating you to get started with your day. Like you're not excited about anything. And so you just go back to sleep. So then the next phase of the cycle is that you feel shame and you feel like a failure and you feel like a quitter and you feel like there's no way you can ever sustain anything. And why didn't that journal that you bought work for you? You thought it was going to be great. Why didn't you keep doing it? And why didn't that health drink really work? Why is it all of a sudden like not as good, or it's too expensive to keep buying? And so now you just feel like hopeless because it didn't work for you. And you were going to the gym, great, and then you stopped going to the gym and now you feel like a failure. But eventually you're like, you pick yourself back up again, you're like, no, I can do this, and you figure out the next shiny thing to start and you buy yourself a new journal or you try a different kind of mushroom coffee, or you try a different workout regimen. This time you're going to work out at home and it's going to be better this time because I can stay at home and work out every single day, right? Like you find the next new, shiny, exciting thing and the cycle starts over again. If anyone can relate to this cycle, hit the like button on this video because this is how I experience it. But the key thing to understand here is that before I understood this cycle, I felt a lot of shame with these things. And that was weighing me down and really affecting my self-esteem. I thought that I was weak and unreliable and undisciplined, and I felt embarrassed, and I felt like I needed to hide these things from those who knew me the best. But once I learned about how ADHD presents in adult women, and really any adults with ADHD can probably relate to this cycle. Once I learned the function of dopamine and how dopamine fluctuates so much in an ADHD brain, I started to learn and realize that this cycle that I've experienced my entire life is not because of me or anything that I'm doing wrong. It's not my personality or my personal failings. What I'm experiencing is a dopamine fluctuation in my brain on a neurochemical level. It's just ADHD. It's the natural cycle of dopamine, getting excited about something, hyper focusing on that thing. The novelty wears off. You get bored again. You stop doing it. You get excited about the next thing. So then once I realized that this cycle was an ADHD cycle, I thought that somehow I was supposed to beat the cycle, overcome the cycle, get out of the cycle, fix the cycle. I thought I needed to force myself to stick with the thing, even when it's not fun anymore. And I would use as much self-discipline as I could until I just couldn't anymore. And I found myself burning out. So, how do we get out of this cycle? That's a trick question because you don't. You don't have to get out of the cycle. That's what this video is about, is learning to embrace the cycle, accept the cycle, live in the cycle, not feel shame about it, and not try to fix it. You don't need to beat the cycle. You simply need to understand it. In fact, there is nothing wrong with being bored or unmotivated. Everyone has those seasons of being bored or unmotivated. What's wrong is when you start to feel shame about being bored or unmotivated. If you can eliminate the shame and feelings of failure, your mindset becomes this instead. Oh, the dopamine of this thing has worn off. I'm in the boredom phase of my cycle. I wonder what my next thing could be to get myself motivated again. You see, by understanding this, you can actually harness this cycle to propel yourself forward and use it to your advantage. You change your mindset to view this cycle instead of like this instead. Something is new and exciting. You are motivated and productive because that thing is new and exciting. The novelty wears off. Productivity wanes. It's not new and exciting anymore. You recognize this and ask, what could I get excited about next? And then you find the next thing to get excited about, and your productivity continues. By harnessing this cycle and using it to your advantage, we can actually hack the dopamine in our brain and make it work for us rather than against us. And this is what begins to unlock ADHD as a superpower rather than a deficit. So, if you're feeling this way right now, you're feeling bored and unmotivated, here's what you can do. What if the answer is not trying harder? What if the answer is not more self-discipline? What if the answer is simply finding your next thing to get excited about? Every time I feel myself slipping into this phase of the cycle of feeling bored and unmotivated and not really wanting to do anything, which happens to me frequently because it's a cycle, I ask myself this question: what is the next thing that I can genuinely get excited about? But if you draw a blank to that question and you legit can't think of anything that you want to be excited about or anything that would motivate you, here's some tips to get you started. So instead of just coming up with random hobby after random hobby, I think at least what works for me is the best way to keep this cycle going and to get yourself into the next exciting thing is to identify and try solving a problem that solves a lot of friction in your life. So think of the biggest problem that you are currently having in your life. Where is the most friction? Maybe you have a really messy car, or maybe you're not getting to bed on time and you're staying up too late. Maybe you're struggling to wake up in the mornings. You're not exercising and you feel really tired during the day, or you're not eating great. You're addicted to your phone in the evenings and you're wasting a lot of time scrolling, right? So identify the things that are causing the most friction in your life right now, and then brainstorm and research ways to solve that problem. And don't just come up with a quick fix. I want you to really get to the root of the issue and use your creative mind that you have. Use your creativity to really dig deep into the core of the issue and come up with a good solution. Like, make it a project, make it a hyper focus, make it a whole research thing. Really get into the nitty gritty. Why am I scrolling on my phone? What is the problem? What's causing me to do that? And come up with a solution that you think is really, truly going to help. Make it a big project. Make it a big craft project. Make it a research study. Use your power of hyperfocus to solve that area of friction in your life. Once you can get excited about this, once you really dig deep into how to solve that problem, there you go. You have your next new shiny thing. And it will be more valuable to you and it will probably last longer because it's actually practical and actually really solving an area of friction in your life. But here's the clincher. That system that you come up with, or that solution, might actually work, and it might actually propel you into big leaps and bounds of progress in your life, and you might actually really start moving forward in great ways. And that's what makes ADHD a superpower. But it might also not last. You might come up with this solution that you think is going to work to go to bed on time, and then a month later, it's not working anymore. But that's also fine, because you have to understand the cycle. This is the cycle, right? It might not last. The dopamine will wear off eventually. Don't feel shame about that. Just accept that, hey, that was great while it lasted. That worked for me for a month. That thing got me through for a month. What's the next thing I can do? Right? You've learned something. You've learned a skill. You've gained a data point of something that works for you. You've added a tool to your ADHD toolbox. You've learned something that could work for a little while. You enjoyed the process and it got you to where you are now. It served its purpose. Find the next shiny thing, and you don't have to feel shame about that. You see, for years, I felt like something was wrong with me. And I felt so much shame, and I felt like I didn't know myself because I didn't have a hobby that I stuck with for longer than 2 weeks. And I would feel so much shame about that. And I felt like I didn't know myself, or like I'm so lame because I don't have any hobbies, or I don't have anything that I do consistently. But then I learned the cycle and I learned why that is for me. And now I actually love it. Now that is actually one of my favorite things about my life, is that I'm always getting into something new. I'm always starting something new. I'm always being spontaneous and figuring out the new thing to add to my life, or this new thing to learn, or that new project to start, or this new thing to implement. And my husband is learning to love all the novelty that I bring to our home and all the value that comes with that. So the next time you catch yourself thinking, I don't want to do anything, I'm unmotivated, there's no reason why I want to get up on time in the morning, Don't feel bad about that. Just realize that you were in the boredom phase of the cycle. And maybe you've been in the boredom phase of the cycle for a long time, but you can get yourself out of that by thinking, what is the next issue that I can solve in my life? What's the biggest area of friction that I can fix? Launch into that. Get motivated to fix the biggest problem in your life. And that will reset your cycle and get you excited, get you productive, get you out of bed in the morning for as long as it's going to last until it's not working anymore. The cycle continues. Embrace the cycle, love the cycle, learn the cycle, acknowledge it. Don't feel shame about it. Accept it. Learn to harness it and use dopamine for your good, and harness this as a superpower to propel yourself forward and get things done. If you enjoyed this video and this content was helpful for you, if you can relate to any of this, I would love to hear your comments below. I would love for you to like this video so that more people can see this content. And if you want more of this content from me, if you can relate to any of this, hit subscribe and come along with me, because I have so many ideas for more videos. I have learned so much about how to help myself manage my ADHD and love my life so much more. I would love to have you guys come along with me. So hit subscribe, and thanks so much for watching.